What's up, Weirdo Swarm? Welcome to a special emergency mini episode of Potagon Infinity. There has been an album announcement and a release of a new single, so we wanted to jump in right away to give our thoughts ASAP. And my name is Joe.
And my name is Spencer. Joe, did you know that we're on level 5?
We're on level 5. Yes, that my head has just been doing that for the last 2 days straight. We're recording this on Friday, July 10th, so 2 days since the release of the song Level 5 and the announcement of this new album, Alien Metal. And we've been hearing about this potential new techno album for a little while, and now we're finally getting some concrete evidence of its existence, and we're so excited.
Yeah, man. Could you believe it? 383 days between official releases by the band. How on earth did we all survive? That's, of course, between June 13th of last year when Phantom Island dropped in full, and as you mentioned, the single this past Wednesday. But my God, dude, the new era of Giz is here apparently, and a lot of people seem to be loving the techno. We'll get to all the comments and messages that we received in just a minute here because there are a lot of them. But so far, so good it seems. A lot of people are enjoying this one.
Yeah, really, the feedback on this one, I've seen nothing but positive. We know that, obviously, Silver Cord is going to be the closest comparison to this album as their other fully electronic album, and we've talked about that album both on our discussion and maybe just in some general chats about it where it's come up that, that one has been a little divisive here and there. It was the first time they really delved into doing something fully on analog synthesizers. There's no guitar, no acoustic drums, or really clean vocals either. Most of the vocals are kind of vocoded and synthesized in interesting ways, and that one I think was a little divisive, but maybe now that they've already done that and sort of broken that seal, and people have seen how sick the rave shows are that they've done, I think people are more open to it now and ready for some more of this.
Yeah, and I think it helps too that this seems like the band firmly planting their feet in the techno/electronic genre. I think my impression on the Silver Cord, an album that I personally enjoy a lot, I think that one was a little bit 1 foot in, 1 foot out. It was more like it felt more like a rock band kind of toying with electronic music, a lot more melodic. And so I think while it disappointed some of the traditional like rock Giz heads, it also kind of disappointed the electronic music fans because they were like, it's not enough. But I think this one, what we've heard so far here on Level 5 and what that might foreshadow for Alien Metal, I think this is satisfying a lot more people in that electronic direction.
Yeah, I totally agree. And real quick, just before we start diving in, we're going to talk about the album announcement itself and, go through some of the things that we know about it so far and talk about the single, Level 5, of course. Real quick, I just want to mention we did just drop part 1 of our Murder of the Universe album discussion this past Wednesday, and that was the same day that this announcement and new single and everything happened. So in case you missed that episode due to all the excitement, please go give that a listen and stay tuned because we will have part 2 of that discussion coming out this following Wednesday. So we're planning on dropping this mini episode that you're hearing right now should be out Monday, and then 2 days from now we'll have part 2 of Murder of the Universe as long as I I'm able to lock in and edit everything over the weekend and stuff. But stay tuned for that and check out part 1 if you haven't already.
So as most of you probably know who are tuning in today, this is the first single, Level 5 is, off of the upcoming LP number 28 from King Gizzard entitled Alien Metal. We don't know much about it so far, but the band did give us the track listing for the upcoming album. That consists of Sapience, Alien Metal, Super Heavy, Super Critical. There's a comma between those two. That is track 3. Track 4, Kill for the Steel. Level 5, appropriately, is track 5. I don't think it could go anywhere else on the album. Followed by Rapid Alpha Decay. UQT, I think. The letters literally UQT. I wonder if it's supposed to be...
Cutie.
You cutie. Oh, you cutie. and then followed by Atomic Collapse, which I'm developing a theory here that might be the next extinction of the Gizverse. But who knows?
Really quick, I got a question for you. You said track 4 was Kill for the Steel?
Yeah.
Okay, I just have written down For the Steel. That's what they had on their Instagram post of the track listing.
Whoa, really?
And now I got to double check that.
Okay.
Where did you see Kill for the Steel? Did I just glance over that entire one word there or something?
This is on the Wikipedia page, so I guess, maybe I should have learned my lesson there in previous instances of using Wikipedia.
Yeah, no, Yeah, I'm looking back at their Instagram post of the announcement. It just says "For the Steel" is the name of track 4. So
weird.
I don't know where that came from, but interesting.
I guess we'll find out soon. Which, by the way, we do know not a specific drop date for the album, but we know that it's releasing soon, probably. Which are the words that Stu and company used on the post.
Yeah, out soon, probably. So I think it's pretty safe to assume it'll be out. I'm gonna say before any of the shows coming up at Forest Hills and Field of Vision and all that in August.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty fair to say. But who knows? It could be out sooner than that. It could be out within the next couple weeks. There's only one way to find out. Time will tell.
Yeah, I would like to think that the band would give us, the fans, I'm not saying they owe it to us or anything like that. I'm not being that bold and dickish, but I think it would make sense, I guess, what I'm trying to say, for the band to release it a few weeks ahead of the Field of Vision coming up August 14th. But yeah, time will tell, man.
So along with this announcement of the name of the album, the track list, of course, was also the album cover, which I wanted to touch on a little bit. It was, of course, created by the magnificently talented Jason Galea, as always, and rather than just an illustration of some kind, this cover is an actual photograph of a physical piece of artwork that Jason created. Similarly to what he did with the B741 cover, where it's kind of this physical creation, this like diorama almost of artwork of a scene of something, but this one has an overall much different vibe than that cover. Instead of happy looking little pigs on a plane, this thing is a close-up shot of this kind of fleshy, metallic, melting alien head that has these two large, beady black eyes. It's got what looks like steel tubes poking into its nose and in and out of its face in a few different places. Mm-hmm. It also has what looks to be a smaller little alien guy in its forehead, as if the alien has an even smaller alien inside piloting it.
Like it's okay. That's another theory. I was thinking it was like an embryo or something, like an alien embryo.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I thought of it as like a little pilot, and I've already seen some fan art by some people in the community drawing this cover and like drawing this little dude that's inside of it. And I think there was also, I keep seeing memes of I think it's a screenshot from, or like a clip from one of the Men in Black movies where there's like a little alien controlling a guy. I haven't watched those movies in forever, but I think that's what it was from. But anyway, there's been lots of people have been having a lot of fun with it already in just the couple days that since this announcement came out. If this little alien dude has a name, I can't wait to find out what it is. A potential new Gizverse character to be added into the history books with along with Han Taiyumi and everyone else would be fun. One thing I'm not positive about is whether or not this physical sculpture is actually made of metal, or if maybe that would have been too difficult to create, and so maybe it's some other materials that were then painted with like a metallic paint to make it look like it's made out of steel.
Right.
I'm not totally sure, but I'm hoping at some point soon we get maybe some BTS of its creation from Jason, because he has been known to do that before.
Yes.
I think he posted a lot of behind the scenes for the B741 cover, and even more recently with Phantom Island last year, I remember seeing posts from him, like a time lapse of him doing the illustration and sort of how it all came together over a long period of time. So there was one short little clip Jason put up on Instagram. It might have just been a story post the other day, but it was just like him, like a view from behind his camera, and you could see the thing sitting on a table with, lights in the room and stuff, and then him just hitting a little remote shutter button, taking the photo. So I guess that's him capturing the behind the scenes of the moment he actually took that photo. But I would love to see some of how this creation came together.
I would expect that we would learn more about something, whether that's a teaser or the album does drop very quickly here. We're going to see something drop online, I think. BTS, like you said, or more little Jason Galea or band teasers. Something's going to come in the next literal week or two, because Field of Vision is coming up very quickly. So right as the single released, a couple of quotes came forth from Stu and Joey explaining the process of the creation of the album at large, and more so what kind of went into the vibes and the creation. Again, not so much just the song, but the album really as a full project. Stu said, quote, "It completely rewired my brain. I was like, I'm going to forget everything I know about music and relearn it all from scratch. We've never scrapped so much material as we have for this album. My favorite part of this quote, entire albums, entire universes that were formulated, created, recorded, deleted, and started again. It sounds so crunchy, but also beautiful." I don't know what to expect, man, but it's so intriguing.
Wow. I mean, it really makes it sound like everything that has ended up on this record is very intentional and very well thought out, which I do like the sound of, because it's not just, okay, we sat around with our synthesizers and just made a bunch of noise and jammed out and then put it out there at like, okay, here it is. It's an album. Like, no, they really put thought into the world that they're building here, the stories, the narrative. I mean, we know they hardly ever put out an album that isn't a concept album of some kind. So,
right.
It sucks to hear that they scrapped a ton of stuff, because you wonder, okay, well, what is out there that we're not going to get to hear now?
Yeah.
But at the same time, that just tells me how much care went into this, and that they were very specific about the way they wanted it to sound and be as a finished product.
And to that point, a shorter quote from Joey says, "Alien metal goes really hard, but it also goes to really interesting places, and it feels unique. It feels like us still." So to the point that you were just making, Joe, like they took the time to curate everything and make sure that there was a point, there was a purpose, and potentially even gives verse connections. Of course, theories are out there already. But the band went to the extent where they're, even though they're blowing things up and Stu is rewiring his brain and everything that he said, they're still retaining their various characteristics of who they are as a band, and how that kind of justifies their approach to these things.
All right, so now I think is a good time to move into talking about this single Level 5 itself specifically. So Level 5 was released with a music video on YouTube at the same time the social media announcement about the album was made. The song is, well, it's a total fucking banger, isn't it, Spencer?
It is,
dude. It's really
dude.
good. Yeah, it's kind of like techno EDM-ish mixed with breakbeat and maybe even like a little touch of drum and bass elements here and there. If I could try to compare it to any other artist's sounds that I know, I'd say it's like, I've seen a lot of other people make this comparison, but maybe a little bit of The Prodigy.
Yeah.
Mixed with, just personally for me, maybe like a little bit of Pendulum, who is a very popular drum and bass band, and I love them. So it gives me sort of the energy of a little bit in between those. Like, there's definitely some kind of throwback elements to like 90s electronic, like The Prodigy and some other styles like this, but also these modern touches. And it's also catchy too. Like it's got a hook, it's got verses. Like, this isn't just like house music that's like just a repetitive kind of beat to dance to, and it's not, I don't know, it's not like a more simplistic kind of techno song where it's like, okay, minimal lyrics, maybe just one short hook, and then like more focus on the melody. Like, this song has everything. It's got a series of different sort of beats and melodies and things that it goes through, but also just a lot of lyrics and things to follow along with that, I find make it really interesting. And it's got a lot that keeps you coming back to listen to it over and over again and picking up on new little moments.
Yeah, I knew that I had my work cut out for me when I first started seeing comments from our listeners on the various social media channels. You mentioned The Prodigy. I think that's an artist name that came up more than any other among all the listener messages we got on this single. And I know nothing about The Prodigy. In fact, I'm really a noob when it comes to most electronic music, even though I've enjoyed King Gizzard's output of it, and I've enjoyed output from other artists as well, but never really took the time to dig into a lot of electronic music over the years in the same way that I have rock and a couple of other subgenres. So I have my work cut out for me. I have a couple of artists profiles bookmarked on Tidal, and there's some stuff I need to listen to get some background references and get to a point similar to where you are to kind of start connecting the dots, so to speak, as far as the band's possible influences on this, to where eventually we can talk about this album in depth when the time comes.
Yeah, if you listen to some of the Prodigy, I never got like crazy deep into their discography, but I know a good handful of some of their more popular songs that I've loved over the years. And there's one album in particular that I think is a really popular one of theirs, and it's the one I know mostly, called Fat of the Land, and it's got like a crab on the cover, and it's a really awesome album cover. So I think maybe that could be a good starting point, checking out that album, and you're gonna hear those kind of beats that they're using in level 5. It sounds very much like the way the Prodigy sort of structured their beats and things, especially.
Okay, cool.
The song, by the way, is 6 minutes and 16 seconds long, so not super lengthy in terms of a typical Giz track, but not short either. The length is kind of perfect, honestly. It gives them some room to switch up the beat a bit here and there, as well as leaving room for some calmer moments where the song can breathe a bit, which is nice. It's not like 6 minutes straight of nonstop, chaos and dancing. It's like, it goes some places, and it has some chiller moments, which is nice. The song also, we both noted, Spencer, you and I, when we first started messaging back and forth about the song the other day, is that it starts and ends very abruptly. So I think it's safe to assume that there's going to be, a smooth, direct transition on either end from the track that leads into it and then going into the following track, which is pretty typical for them. It seems like they do this more often than not on most of their albums.
Yeah, and actually, interesting that you mentioned the song length. I have actually, and this is maybe breaking news here on the spot as we're recording this, the song is finally on Tidal. We had a listener write in about this. I would assume it's also on YouTube Music, which you use now.
I'm going to take a look right now.
But I was reading, actually, that apparently there was an issue with the capitalization or lack thereof with the word "the" in the band's name, and that's why it wasn't appearing properly on the artist profile, and why we could only see it in music video form on YouTube. So it is out on streaming, and the reason I was tying this to what you just said, Joe, is that the length for streaming is 5 minutes 35 seconds, so about a 40-second difference, and I believe that's exclusively at the beginning. There's kind of a longer intro on the music video version of it, and it's, I don't know, it's like heavily percussive, and kind of brings you in a little more gently than it does on the streaming version, but yeah, there's something quirky going on.
Weird. Okay, I am still not seeing it on YouTube Music, which is so weird because it's on YouTube. Like, the initial release was like, here's the song with a video on YouTube. Yeah. So why does YouTube Music not have it? I don't know, because I'm looking at their artist page on the platform, and the most recent single is still Grow Wings and Fly from last year. So I'm seeing the Phantom Island stuff, but I do not see Level 5 on here. Okay, weird. I just searched it, and now the song itself is coming up. It just doesn't show up on their page when you go to their page. I don't know. YouTube Music is weird sometimes. Sometimes it feels a little rough around the edges, like it's not the most organized streaming platform. I definitely preferred the layout of Spotify back when I was still using that, but alas, it is no more. So I'm dealing with it. But okay, well, the song does come up now, and it's got the album cover and everything, and yeah, I'm seeing the same thing. 5 minutes 36 seconds. Is that what you said?
Yeah,
was on
5:35, but tomato.
Oh, I get one more second than you.
Aw, no fair.
I get one more second. But yeah, weird. If you go to their page itself on YouTube Music, the song doesn't show up in their discography. So, oh, I see it. The word "the" is not capitalized.
Yeah, see,
that's the problem. God. The word "the" is not capitalized for this song, but their regular everything else, it has a capital T in "the." So that's why it is not linking to the rest of their music. God, what a mess.
I did not know that a definite article was case sensitive in this case, but whatever, man.
This is a totally different band. This is a different band. This is King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, not King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
The Lizard Wizard, yeah. Get your facts straight.
So as I said, there is quite a bit of vocals on this track, and all of them are completely vocoded. They're played through a vocoder, through a synthesizer. So essentially, if you don't know what a vocoder does, it's you have a microphone connected to a synth, and when you sing or speak into that microphone and play notes on the synth at the same time, it transforms your voice into the notes. So what you're hearing isn't really your voice, it's just taking the shape of the words you're saying and then playing them through a synthesizer. So exactly what you hear on this song, that sounds like that's what they're doing. And because of that, you cannot possibly tell who's singing. I assume it's Stu or Joey, or a mix of the two. You know, both of them handle most of the vocals, especially Stu more than anyone. And so I don't know, I guess we'll find out in time. But I also, speaking of vocals, wanted to mention that KGLW.net already has the lyrics to this song listed on their site, and I have no idea where they got them from, because from what I can tell, the band hasn't officially listed them anywhere. Like, there's no official pages with info about the album and like lyrics to songs or anything else like that. So yeah, I'm not going to read through all the lyrics now while we're talking about the song, but if you're curious and want to follow along and learn what they're talking about in the track, I highly recommend going to the lyric page for Level 5 on KGLW.net.
Yeah, I will say in just a general sense, there's a theme here for sure of kind of world ending or galaxy ending. It very much kind of mirrors the themes in a song. Like, yeah, but it also, to me, I think the fact that it's electronic, I think it mirrors the themes in something like Extinction or maybe even on Swan Song off the Silver Chord. Plenty of repeated refrains of the hook, we're on Level 5, and you know, things about milk's gone bad, expiry, dropping like flies on the windscreen. A lot of themes of death and ending. Mm-hmm. So I think that's sort of what the crux of what we're looking at for this album to come. Not much else we can or really want to say right now, since we will dig into all this at a later date when all is revealed. But that's kind of the general sense of what we're looking at. So let's dig into this super cool video. Of course, this is the other side of King Gizzard art. This fantastic video was directed by Hayden Somerville, who the band has worked with before, I believe. Produced by Ruby Rose Thomas, and the production company is Pork Store Productions. I don't know if they had anything to do with Flight B741, but it would have been appropriate if they did. If not, that's kind of a missed opportunity, naming-wise. Anyway, the video, as most of you listening have probably seen already, features basically the band as orderlies in this crazy like galactic space hospital. They're all wearing these red robes. Only their eyes are visible. They're wearing surgical masks that are red to match the robes, and they have a surgeon with them who is played by Australian actor Vince Colosimo, who I believe is actually a pretty well-known guy in Australia. So cool they were able to get seemingly a big name like that. And basically the band as the 6 orderlies in the room, and Vince playing the head surgeon. And also there's a woman here, Jackie Sunbury, who plays the ritual leader on site. Jackie Sunbury is kind of fulfilling this chaplain-like role in the room here.
Yeah.
She has like this ritual book with her, and she's kind of looking on kind of in a solemn facial expression, like praying probably praying internally to whatever their deity is in this world, like, oh, I hope this all goes okay. They're doing surgery on this alien being. They're plugging all the cords and cables from Nathan into the being, almost like various machines you would find in a real-world emergency room, and ostensibly they're able to bring the alien back to life, but then things go south after the alien starts convulsing and apparently dies right there on the spot, and that kind of kills the mood, you know.
Yeah, well, you failed to mention that before he kind of falls over and seemingly dies or whatever, he does groove the hell out to to some music. As you said, there's cables plugged into the alien that are also on the other end plugged into the synths. And the alien gets up from the surgical table and like slowly kind of hobbles over towards this stack of speakers and starts like doing the weirdest moves ever, just this crazy weird dance. And shortly after that, actually, the lead surgeon, he walks up and kind of like pleasantly surprised, and he starts kind of moving with him a little bit, like doing some, trying to like see, like kind of emulate the moves the alien's doing. But yeah, after not long, the alien like starts to, it like throws up and starts smoking and like falling over, and then Vince, or the actor playing the surgeon character, he like sort of wraps his arms around him, like hugging him and holding him, like it's okay, it's gonna be okay, like in a kind of way. And also, speaking of the plugs that are plugged into it, specifically, they plugged the cables into this like fleshy cube that was inside of the alien's chest. So they had it down on this surgical table, and they use a scalpel and they cut its chest open, and they pull out this very fleshy, strange cube, and that's where they plug the cables into it, and then it starts like lighting up and stuff, and then he starts dancing to the music. So there's some kind of weird connection here between the alien and whatever they're doing with the synthesizers. Oh, by the way, at the synths, a couple of the Giz guys, specifically, there's a couple close-ups of Joey that come to mind that I remember seeing, of them quickly like plugging cables and turning knobs on the synths and doing all this stuff until the alien gets up and starts grooving. So there's some kind of weird narrative here going on about, I don't know, the alien and its connection to the music and what they're doing with the music. And I mean, if we connect it back to the title of this album, Alien Metal, it's certainly not an alien, or it's certainly an alien album. It's certainly not a metal album.
No.
But maybe this music, like high energy electronic music, is like what would be like metal to aliens, where it's like intense and driving and they can't help but move to it. And it's energetic and all this. It's like heavy metal for aliens. So I don't know. There's some kind of weird connections going on here, and I'm excited to see the lore kind of expand as we get the rest of the album.
Yeah, there are plenty of theories already developing on the subreddit, and I think we're going to touch on a comment or two when we read our listener comments to that point. So we'll get to those in a minute, but yeah, of course, this fan base being what it is, they're going to take it and run with it. Ooh, this is a reference to that. And of course, I'm here for it. However kooky or disconnected it may actually be, some may be accurate, who knows? It's entertaining nonetheless.
Yeah, and one other thing I forgot about is there's also a couple moments on some of the props, like there's the shot of this red banner in the beginning, and there's the book that the ritual leader is holding, and there's even, I think, something on the lead surgeon's robe. There's these different symbols, these like mysterious, very culty looking symbols that appear in a few different places in the video. So I'm also excited to see if those pop up again, if we get some more music videos. I mean, it's pretty normal that they do multiple music videos for an album. So I'm excited to see maybe what the meaning behind those is and learn more about this cult of surgeons and alien surgeons worshiping the alien, or I don't know, doing musical synthesizer experiments on aliens. I don't know. There's so many questions, but I'm excited to see where this all goes. One other thing just related to the video that I want to touch on before we move on is this feels like it's maybe the most high budget music video they've ever done.
Yeah.
And I feel this for several reasons. First of all, noticeable is just the camera quality alone is so crisp, and it looks like it was shot on a modern, high-end digital cinema camera of some kind. And it really looks especially modern compared to so many of their other videos that were shot on old VHS cameras and stuff like that. Like, sometimes they purposefully go for that gritty look in a lot of their older videos and stuff, but this is a huge contrast to that. There's also the couple actors that we mentioned. So usually all the Giz boys appear in their own videos, but it's only here and there that we get an extra actor of some kind in a video. So having these extra actors, especially if they're well-known, professionals, like you mentioned, Spencer, like some people know who that guy Vince was and stuff. So they've got a few actors. They're all wearing pretty elaborate costumes. They and not even to mention the alien costume itself is insane, like the level of detail on it. And I forgot to mention this might be besides the point, but I couldn't help but notice the alien does have 3 titties. What do you think about that, Spencer?
I don't have any further comment on that, but I also certainly did notice it.
I couldn't help but notice there's a pretty good close up when they're cutting across its chest that I'm like, oh, okay, that's something. But no judgment, Don't expect aliens to look exactly like us humans.
No, of course not.
But there's also there's all kinds of crazy props, and the band's synth rack is in there, and there's also just a ton of credits for the video. You mentioned like the director, producer, and the production company and the actors, but there was on the post on social media of the album announcement, there's a long, and it's actually in the description of the YouTube video too. There's a long list of credits for this video, all kinds of extras and people helping out and people doing lighting and sound and just all kinds of stuff, set design, like everything. So I can't help but think this is probably the most high budget video they've ever done. I think it really shows, but I think it's cool to see them kind of elevate to this. It's still very much Giz, but it's very like modern and high end looking at the same time.
Absolutely. Really excited for them leveling up onto level 5, perhaps you might say, with their video production quality. Okay, so as promised, we wanted to know what you all thought about the new single and the upcoming album that it is on. So let's get into all of your messages. We'll begin with X, which, by the way, this is our first time mentioning it on the show here. We're going to be phasing out our X account for very obvious reasons, I think, that'll resound within the Giz community. And it's also an outlet that we, frankly, haven't gotten a ton of engagement on anyway. We are, of course, on all the other outlets, as we'll touch on in the minutes to come. So just so you're aware, new little bit of news on the social media front there. Anyway, we have 2 comments on X, beginning with Yakan1, who says, "It rips. I can't confirm, but is it technically microtonal or just like an Arabic scale? I think it sounds great. It could be the apex of the synth universe they've been building. Maybe a Han Taiyumi return." I cannot speak definitively, really, to whether it's microtonal or not. I'm going to go with no, but that's just what my gut is telling me. Joe, do you know one way or the other?
Yeah, instinctually, I want to say it's not. I feel like, I don't know. I mean, microtonal synthesizers are a thing, but yeah, I'm going to say no. I feel like they'd make that pretty clear if they were like intentionally messing with microtones again.
True.
I think it might be like, hey, we're doing a microtonal electronic album. Like, I feel like it would be a bigger kind of known thing. So, yeah, I don't know. It might just be something about the scale that's giving you that kind of vibe. And as far as Han Taiyumi, I don't know, man. I mean, I'd be excited to see a return of the character. Of course, he was created from Murder of the Universe, which we just were talking about recently on the show. And, makes an appearance on Fishing for Fishies as well, of course. So, I don't know. Yeah, only time will tell, but I'd be excited for that.
Our second and final X comment comes from Jaden Sleeps, who says, "Level 5 and likely the entire Alien Metal album doesn't at all sound like something KGLW made, but at the same time it does, because of how many different genres they've done, and I love that. Yep, King Gizzard for you in a nutshell. It's a thing of beauty how they can just transform overnight practically, but yet there are always those little calling cards, those little signs that it is still them."
All right, so continuing on to our responses from Instagram, which is where we got the most response. We've got a lot of messages and also comments on our post from you guys out there, so we appreciate all the feedback. Starting off with Mike's News, simply just says, "Love the song." And similarly from Landon.T13 said, "Love it. When will it be on Tidal?" And then parentheses, "It is now." So yeah, we kind of touched on that earlier. It wasn't on streaming right away, but it does seem to be at least on Tidal now, because that's the platform you use, Spencer. Yeah. And we already had talked about, trying to find it on YouTube Music for myself. So I think they're slowly kind of figuring that out and rolling it out to all the different platforms. So should be out soon if it's not on your platform of choice already. Roving Sign says, "Dark techno vibes. Much anticipation for this," with a fire emoji. Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, definitely dark with the theming, and of course the music video as well certainly adds to that. I am so excited to hear the rest of this album. Aruma Canvas says, "This is what I wanted Silver Cord to be. I'm so hyped." Yeah, I mean, I love the Silver Cord, but it was definitely a grower for me a bit. Immediately I thought it was cool, but I wasn't blown away by it. Over time, it's grown on me, and I love it, and I've grown to appreciate the extended version and some of the extra stuff they do there. But yeah, I already feel like the overall style of this album is maybe a little more geared towards my taste when it comes to electronic music.
Yeah, I'm for sure under the impression that a lot of the people who did not like the Silver Cord will like Alien Metal, if this single is any indication, and that's certainly encouraging for the sake of fans' happiness and engaging with the band's music. Next comment comes from The Real Bootleg Bastard, who says, "Love it. This feels like an extension of where siiiick started. The new and experimental is what keeps me coming back for more." And there was a quick reply under that by our good friend Altered Tease, the lovely creator of our logo set and all of our artwork for the podcast. Altered Tease says, "Totally agree. I've been saying this video especially feels like the spiritual successor to siiiick, and it makes sense given all the synth rigs and all the bits and bobs and the cables everywhere. The red suits, by the way, that's if unintentional, that's another little connection or coincidence."
And speaking of Altered Tease, the creator of the new podcast logo that we've had for a few months now, if you use Apple Podcasts like I do, you may have noticed that the page there for our show never updated to that new logo. It's still showing the original old show's logo. And it turns out the reason for that was a sizing issue. When we put out the new image of the logo to go onto all the streaming platforms, it updated everywhere except for that one. And we didn't know what was causing the issue for a long time, but now we finally know what it is. And so we're working on fixing it. So hopefully by the time you hear this, the new logo's there. And if it's not, it should be soon. So just a little update to those of you if you use Apple Podcasts and if you follow us online anywhere and saw the new logo but wondered why it never updated there. We're working on it. Okay, moving along with more of our Instagram replies. Amazing Ashworth said, "I always liked The Prodigy and this gives me the same vibes. I am looking forward to hearing the rest of the album. I hope it goes as hard as this song. If so, it's going to be a masterpiece." Yeah, see, there we go. Another person thinking alike with that name, The Prodigy. I'm seeing that pop up in a lot of places.
Fungus_lizard says, "Level 5 feels like a new door into the Nonagon. TSC was a test run and intro into techno, and Alien Metal sounds like the album they feel more comfortable with and gave their all to techno. Refreshing, new, and exciting. The video is amazing as well. Great themes and imagery." Good point, Fungus Lizard, and this was sort of what I was trying to say at the beginning of the show here, that the Silver Chord was maybe them dipping their toes into the pool a little bit, into electronic music, so to speak, and whereas Alien Metal sounds like it's going to be like balls to the wall, they're all in, they're diving fully into this universe of electronic music. So, well said, and fully agreed.
George S. says, "Nathan has evolved. I think Alien Metal is going to blow away our expectations." Yep, I couldn't agree more. They've just been getting better and better with their their learning and their experimentation with the synthesizers and the rave shows they've done and stuff. It's like this is next level electronic giz. Another short one, Rylan says, "I'm loving the Prodigy inspiration here, and that video might be one of my favorites so far." Yep, I agree. I love the video, and there's just more Prodigy comparisons, so I'm not crazy for that.
Connor P says, "I absolutely love the direction they are taking. Giz's electronic stuff, along with 9 Inch Nails, got me into electronic music as a whole, so this is going to be really cool. Here's hoping that they play a bunch of it at Field of Vision. I'm predicting one night that is essentially just their electronic stuff with Nathan." I would agree. I think something like that seems likely. We'll see what actually happens, but hey, glad to know that something like 9 Inch Nails kind of connected the dots for you here, Connor. That's been a band that I've actually been meaning to get into a little bit recently, so you've given me a little further encouragement there, and we shall see what they have planned as far as the Field of Vision bit.
Mandela_moth said, "I personally loved it a ton. I didn't really have any expectations, mostly because I wasn't expecting it to drop so soon, but wow, was I surprised. I love the drum and bass sound, and hearing the Amen break was awesome. Definitely has become one of my favorite Giz songs. Cannot wait for Alien Metal." Yeah, I'm glad there's someone else who's also comparing it to like kind of drum and bass style a little bit, and the Amen break, I didn't even really, I recognize the sound of it, and I'm familiar with that sample being used in so much electronic music, but for some reason it didn't connect to me that that's what it was in this song, so I don't know if they recreated that same kind of sound or if they're literally using the Amen break sample that's used in so many songs. But it's so cool, and that's given me good reason to share it with friends, because I have a friend or two who loves like kind of breakbeat music and stuff that uses that sort of beat a lot. So I'm like, oh, dude, this has the Amen break in it. Listen to the new Giz track. So yeah, I'm enjoying that a lot.
Real quick, Joe, for me and the rest of the noobs out there, what the hell is an Amen break? Or what the hell is the Amen break?
The Amen break is this little piece of a drum sample that has been used in a ton of electronic music over the years. It originally comes from the 1969 track called Amen Brother by American soul group The Winstons. And I had to pull that up. I couldn't remember their name off the top of my head. But it's essentially, there's this little break in that song where it's just drums for a couple seconds. And people have sliced out that little chunk of drums and remixed it and chopped it and skewed it and sped it up, slowed it down, all kinds of crazy stuff to create these new really cool beats. So if you listen to it and you hear the break itself and like listen to some songs as examples that have it, you will never be able to unhear it. If you hear it in a song, you'll be like, oh, there it is. Like it is in thousands and thousands of songs. It's crazy.
Okay, cool. Yeah, the more you know. Good. Glad I learned that today.
Yeah, but thanks for asking, because I'm sure there are plenty of other people that don't know what it is. So
absolutely, yeah. Moving on to our next Instagram comment, Pat Raps says, the costumes for the video are so freaking cool. Love how they connect Nathan to the glowing organ inside the alien. I can't help but feel bad for the alien when it starts to puke and overheat, and it seems the surgeon and band members might too. Yeah, I think they do. 10 out of 10 song for me.
Sad.
I love a breakbeat with synths. Cannot wait for the album and more potential music videos. Yeah, I feel very bad for the alien too. An alien puking, where have we heard that one before? Oh, very recently, actually, coming up on part 2 Murder of the Universe. our next episode dropping.
Okay, and our final Instagram message before we move on to some from Bluesky as well to finish us off. We got this last one from Instagram from Stefan A, who says, so many thoughts. Even though I knew it was coming soon, I was not prepared for all of that on a Wednesday morning. Yeah, and it's funny too because of the time difference. Like for them, they're dropping this info at night.
Yeah.
For them, but for us, it's like 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. on a Wednesday, like just a random weekday morning.
Morning
We're like,
break
oh
at
shit,
work.
it's just a lot of morning excitement. Yes, yeah. Really enjoy elements of the song, and honestly, after seeing some of the Stu clips, I wasn't as optimistic about this project. I really loved the drum and bass jungle feel, 90s techno, The Prodigy vibe. There we go.
There it is again.
The music video is amazing. Probably the best production of any of their videos, in my opinion. It's very influenced by David Cronenberg's Dead Ringers. Worth a watch if you're into bizarre cinema. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that, and that's pretty bad because I did go to film school for a couple years, but that's one I'll have to look into. But yeah, it looks like you agree with me that I said about the high production value going on here. Also, such a sick album cover. My first thought was that Galea crafted some hunk of metal to photograph similar to the wooden plane on B741's cover. Oh my god, me and Stefan are on the same wavelength in a lot of ways here. They finish up with, as a fan of darker sci-fi, really just loved the whole aesthetic they've created with this first glimpse. Yeah, I think this is a great glimpse into what's to come. I'm so excited for the rest of the music, and I really hope there's some more music videos to build on the story of this alien and this culty group and all the weird shit going on. So, cannot wait for more.
So thank you to all who commented on Instagram. Now we're moving on to Bluesky, where we have 4 comments total, beginning with Gizful Dead, who says, made this comment somewhere else yesterday, hoping they make a whole-ass movie out of this album. The song sounds like it flows from the previous one, and that video was very well shot. Clearly some shit happening before the video starts. Who is this creature? Where is it from? How do they know about the synth that lives within this creature? What happens next now that the creature is possibly dead? Don't remember if it died or just smoked a lot. Anyway, a gizzard can dream, can't he?
Somebody was smoking a lot on the set.
A lot of questions there that I myself do have. Those are all fair. As far as the death one, though, it's clear to me that the creature died because they're burning the body at the end. I'm pretty sure that's what's going on.
Oh, is that? See, I was wondering if that was, because I had that thought at first, but it doesn't look like the body, because that shot at the end where there's that thing on fire,
yeah.
It looks just like the same red banner from the beginning.
Oh,
so the beginning had that red banner hanging outside, and then at the end it's that same banner but now on fire.
Okay, maybe time to reassess then.
Like my first thought was like, is the alien wrapped up in like a cloth bag or something, and then they burned it? But
yeah, that's what
you can't really tell. It just looks like that banner burning. So
okay.
I don't know. Take a look at it again and maybe you think about it.
Yeah, we'll reassess. As far as the whole ass movie, I'm game. I would love to see that. Might never happen, but who knows?
Yeah,
also, Also, Quetzalcoatlus Wellness Institute, who interacts with us quite a bit on Bluesky, says the effects and artwork and concept and delivery are all next level. I can't wait to see the crowd getting pumped and jumping up and down to level 5. Looking forward to how this single fits into the bigger pick of alien metal. Here's a fun fact. You can spell laminate from 9 letters of alien metal. I've seen a couple of people mention that, and that cannot have been an accident. I don't necessarily think there are any intentional themes that are connecting to laminated denim or Made in Timeland for that matter, but I wonder if that was just a cheeky little, we're doing a little word like letter trick here just because we can.
Now you got me searching online on an anagram generator, typing alien metal and seeing what comes up.
Oh, God.
K, or Key the Badware Lover, says, it literally has the good old vibes of Big Beat from The Prodigy itself, but I was really surprised and hoped that the latest album would be progressive electronic or breakbeat. But I really love the music video of Level 5, and I was really amazed. Okay, so it sounds like you were pleasantly surprised that, you know, it sounds like you got what you wanted, right? If you dig like sort of the breakbeat, progressive electronic kind of thing, it definitely sounds like that's what the song is kind of getting into. So I hope that was a nice, pleasant surprise for you, and excited for you to hear the rest of it. I'm excited for all of us to hear the rest of it. Finally, from Bluesky, this is our last user message here. Thank you so much to everyone for writing in, by the way. This is like the biggest response we've gotten on anything that we've posted for the show. So we could feel your excitement. It's really awesome. Last one here is from King Shrimpo and the Nonagon Wizard. It's like the Silver Chord, but if they also fused in the Prodigy and Venetian snares. I absolutely love that they did my favorite genre, breakcore, for this one. If the whole album is breakcore, it might as well be my new favorite. And that comment came along with the gif of Martin Scorsese saying absolute cinema. So yeah, it's really like an evolution of what they did on the Silver Chord, and these sort of breakbeat elements and stuff are so cool. That is a genre that I appreciate the sound of. I don't know if I really listen to a lot of it specifically, but I love that overall vibe a lot. So yeah, I'm so excited to see what they do with the rest of it and see what other sort of weird paths maybe they go down, but I'm hoping a lot of it has the same kind of high energy as this one.
I'm familiar with Venetian blinds, but not Venetian snares, so I have bookmarked that artist as well to explore some of that discography to continue my self-education further into this genre.
I don't know them either, actually. I feel like I've heard the name, but I need to look them up and check out their music.
So thank you once again to everybody who wrote in with their thoughts. Again, our largest response, I think, ever to any prompt on the show. We really appreciate it. Helps give this show life, and it helps us avoid just having an episode consist strictly of the two of us blabbing back and forth. So we appreciate having the other voices present. Thank you to all who wrote in.
All right, everyone. Well, that does it for our reaction discussion here on the announcement of Alien Metal and the Level 5 single. Thank you so much for all of your responses, those of you who commented or sent us a DM on any of the social platforms. We hope you enjoyed hearing your own comments being read here, and it's just so nice to see how equally excited everyone seems to be about this song, about this record. Just so much positive feedback we're getting. Not a single person said that they're disappointed or at least directly to us. So seems like everybody's vibing with it and excited for it. And also, we said this was a mini episode, but now we've been here for almost an hour, so it's actually more of just kind of a sode, isn't it, Spencer?
Yeah, not a mini-sode. It is strictly a sode at this point.
If you don't already, please follow us on our socials, like all these fine people who responded to us on this post did. We are at Potagon Infinity on Bluesky, Facebook, and Instagram, and as we said, we are kind of phasing out our X account. And so don't bother following us there if you still use that platform, that wretched platform. Also, I think I mentioned this once or twice before, but it's been a long time. But if you haven't already, if you're enjoying our show, give us some feedback. Give us a rating or a little review on the platform of your choice. I think would be really nice and help get us out there into the world, help people discover us more, that, other fellow gizheads out there that might enjoy these discussions. So yeah, go ahead and give us a rating, a fair rating. I would ask 5 stars if you feel so inclined. If you're satisfied with the product that we give you here, that would be awesome. So thank you. Also, I did say this at the top of the show. We are kind of in between our Murder of the Universe album discussion right here. This one just kind of happened out of nowhere because we didn't know we were going to get new Giz music and this album announcement this week. So we just released Murder of the Universe Discussion Part 1, and Part 2 is going to be coming out just a couple days after this episode that you're hearing now. So stay tuned for that. We hope you enjoy that discussion over there, and then we'll see you for whatever's going on next time.
As always, thank you for listening to Polygon Infinity, and thank you for keeping it weird and doing your part to spread the good word of the Giz. Take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll see you in the next episode. Later, Gators.
Woo!
We're on level 5.
We're on level 5.